Hello, welcome to You Haven't Blanked That. I'm Forrest.
And this is Jimmy. Forrest, this week we're talking about Teen Witch. A high school nerd, Louise Miller, learns from her psychic madam Sabrina that she's possessed with magical abilities that begins to work after her 16th fucking birthday.
But I don't have a smart ass question for this one. I'm sorry. I know I typically do, but I didn't.
Do you like it? Do you love it? It is a very 80s movie.
I was actually okay with it. I don't know why I was okay with this movie. Because there's so many
good things about this movie.
Well, outside of Zelda Rubinstein, there's nobody I like. I mean, I like Poltergeist, so that's where I know her from.
So
but it didn't make sense. Like, how come she has the powers, but her mom or dad did not?
Okay, so
that's what I didn't.
So this movie, like, a lot of people try to figure out like where this title came from.
Well, I know initially it was supposed to be a Teen Wolf movie.
Well,
it was supposed to be Girl Teen Wolf, which is what this is, totally Girl Teen Wolf. But
see, and it should have been because there's a perfect place for it to be Girl Teen Wolf, but Teen Witch. But rather than Marty McFly and his father having that discussion, like, "Hey, I'm a werewolf, and you're a werewolf."
I was hoping it skips a generation. Sometimes it skips a generation,
and they have that father-son moment. This totally could have had a mother-daughter moment
because they're talking about that part at the beginning.
But the mother's still trying to baby her into not being, because the mom was kind of a good.
But you could have had that whole. But you could have had that whole I'm holding on to this shit, mom or daughter. Oh, you're a witch.
I get it, but at the same time, they could have had that, hey, I'm a witch, you're a witch too, because basically, the writer was talking about how they wanted to have Bewitched Samantha.
Well, and they do.
Yeah,
they kind of do. Do you know why? Did you notice who the dad was? The dad is the second Darren.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I think it's one of the Darrens.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not gonna say second, but it's one of the Darrens. That's one of the Darrens.
That's cool. But yeah, overall, it was a fucking sexy tale about this young girl becoming. I'm sorry. Did you not see the saxophone dance?
First off, there's only one saxophone.
Red Shoe Diary scene as her
There's only
dream.
one saxophone dance, and that's in Lost Boys.
That's true. But I like how she just dreams in sexy 80s vibe.
In sexy softcore porn.
Yeah, just a red dress dancing on a rooftop.
Well, I'm usually all about the nerdy girl, but not so much this time.
This movie's weird because you figured it would have a lot of talking points. Where hey, I gave up my friend for popularity, and let me just fix that by foregoing popularity and going back to my friend. Never does that.
It does not do this.
It never goes hey, I'm in love with this hot boy, to find out later he's an idiot that's failing English, that maybe hotness isn't what it is. Doesn't even touch that either. It's just fuck it. It's a very... Zelda has in any other movie would be a fucking villain.
Yeah! I'm waiting for that the whole time! I'm all like, what's she gonna do? I'm like, is she just
is she conning her to make money?
No, not even conning her to make
use
money.
Her powers?
No. Well, I thought it was gonna be the more she does shit, the more powerful I get, and then we're gonna fight at the end.
A covenant of two destroy. Yeah.
No, not that at all.
No, not that at all. All this was just a young girl just learning how to love herself and the hot boy.
Well, you didn't tell me this was a musical.
It's not really a musical.
It's a musical.
There's a lot of music videos in it.
It's a musical.
It started out okay, well, first off, there is a musical.
Hold on.
Based on this shit.
I'm sure there is. But when you when you put together a movie based on a musical, technically, those are music videos.
True, but I feel like this is more lip syncy, more dance. This is more like a dance movie.
She has that really bad audition with Brad.
Oh yeah,
for the play.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought like she like for teenagers.
It was good. It was a good audition. Like, she was the one who should have played that part. But the foreshadowing in it was so fucking horrible.
And obvious. Oh yeah, for sure.
And then after the audition, like she's bicycling home, and she almost gets hit with Brad's car.
Oh, fucking Brad runs her off the road trying to get a blowjob. Like, oh, come down, Brad.
And then it's like, for someone who wants to make out with Brad, she's really testy towards Brad.
Yeah. Oh, no. We're escaping fucking the best part of this whole fucking movie. So, fucking Louise is dreaming about being a sexy whore on a rooftop trying to get fingered to waking up to her brother eating chocolate cake, a full-on chocolate cake underneath her bed, reading her diary. Oh, Brad. And like, he is my favorite thing in this entire fucking movie. His line delivery is just fucking gold.
Nice.
It's like, oh, no one's coming to your sweet 16, honey. Like, it's just like this, like.
Why did they?
He embodies a smoking, angry lesbian throughout this entire thing. I love it. He's so good. It was like, you think you're hot stuff because you went to a dance. Yeah, dog. A dog. Oh my god. Oh, it's so good.
Starts telling this rape story. You gotta cut that out. Starts telling this story about being raped on prom night.
Oh my god, it has its a rape little moment too, where fucking Brad takes Louise to that fucking rape house where he kisses her all over her body.
That was consensual.
Dude, I forget how over sensual this movie is. We're all over the place right now.
I know.
But what was it, like the fucking English teacher too? What a fucking bitch.
Yeah. What kind of sassy gay English teacher?
Oh, right? It's like,
what English teacher is that sassy and gay and that like,
I want to kiss Brad all over my body, or I want Brad to kiss me all over my body, blah blah blah. And then he fucking name drops the fucking like who it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're a bitch. Like, anywhere. Dude, that guy too, like, what shocked me too is that later on, post Voodoo Doll transition, where the gay English teacher ends up almost becoming a pedophile, showing his genitals to all these underage kids. Like 4 scenes later, he still has his job as the teacher. I'm like, how is that even? Where's the PTA meeting on that bitch? Like, but what do you think of the song "I Like Boys"? That's where like. No,
I know. I remember.
She was like, I have an idea for our new dance, and then they just hit the play button on the song, and they just break into this whole dance sequence. But like, what's super dope is that because I've seen this movie several times.
How many times have you watched this movie?
At least 20.
At least 20.
Yeah.
I've seen it once, and I'm good.
No, really, I don't know.
Was it your sister?
Good. My sister's friend had it.
Okay.
And I kind of had a crush on her, and then
so you watched it a bunch to be like, "Hey, Kimberly," were you start dropping lines from this movie?
Yeah, but like it was like at that point, a lot of the jokes I didn't really get, so I was kind of like, or a lot of the different things. So the only thing I remember that I loved was like the little
boner jokes, and she's like, "What? You can't even get a boner, kid."
Yeah, my brother's friend across the street, he would watch it, and I remember he would have like Saturdays after they went skateboarding.
Yeah,
they would like go back to his house and watch TVs in the living room. And I remember watching this and Legends and a bunch of other movies over there. But yeah, no, it's a fun movie, dude. Especially with like this, especially the I Like Boys scene. Like none of those girls are wearing like bras, and they're all in like swimsuits, and they're just like dancing and gyrating around. Like as a young, strappy young boy, it was a very awesome scene. But like if you watch that scene, the girls that are dancing, you could tell they've done that routine hundreds of times. and they're sick and tired of it. And there's a couple different scenes where you see their faces and they're just fucking annoyed to no end with each other, and you can see that they're fucking glaring at each other. And then the next scene, it's them doing jazz hands.
So yeah, so she
but I Like Boys, great song. Take That, phenomenal song. High School Blues, great song. That's the one where the three guys that are kind of like
I was about to say
are like dancing in front of like Louise's like locker room, and then she tells them to scram. But this movie's flawless. It's a perfect movie from beginning to end.
So when she gets run off the road.
Oh, she gets run off the road, and she's too embarrassed because she likes Brad, but that bitch is there, and so she's very much like, let her fucking walk. Like, we gotta go. I need to suck that dick, Brad. And Brad's like, okay, you sure?
Now, Brad's that guy that's like a piece of shit and all those. Like, anything after that, like, Brad's not a nice guy. Brad's a piece of shit and everything else after that.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's the guy from Son-in-Law.
He is the guy from Son-in-Law. Yeah.
He was like a bad guy. He was.
He was.
And he was in that Saved by the Bell movie where he's a piece of shit in the Saved by the Bell movie.
Oh, crap.
The Hawaiian one?
Brad! Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's in that.
This movie came out in 89. So this is post all the John Cusack movies.
Yeah.
So this is where it's like...
it's like, let's tell girl stories about this now.
Yeah, and then it's like post Revenge of the Nerds. Punky Bruce is a thing. Because they make a Revenge of the Nerds joke. They make
Punky Brewster jokes.
Yeah, so they kind of hit all these things.
But it was kind of like, okay... So we know we know the formula. Let's use these cliches.
And they sprinkle in the rape scenes throughout this whole thing too, because even like fucking Brad's
rape scenes. There wasn't
Brad's cousin Dave.
Oh, he's rapey, but he's not a
rapist. Yeah. But like whatever happened to him? He just disappeared. He went missing. Like he's just gone forever.
They didn't. Well, Brad didn't follow up with like, hey, my fucking cousin.
But okay, hold on. But he said that he's like, yeah, sorry about my cousin. And he goes, yeah, I told him to get lost, and he got lost. And then Brad, for a moment, you look at him, he's like, oh shit, is he missing? Because he has this look of like concern that doesn't sound like him, or something's wrong, but doesn't touch the base. So in my mind, I've always pictured Dave as just disappeared from life and is missing, and his family are crying for him. Because like that look that Brad gave made it look like he's still missing.
At that dance, though, what made me laugh was they're all... Hey everybody, grab your wallets. Here's a slow song. Like there's a fucking pickpocket in the crowd.
These gold diggers want to steal your money, boys. But like it's that scene too is dope too, because like it shows like Louise going to the dance and she's all excited. She's wearing that outfit that her mother got her at the Young Miss department.
Well,
and she goes to the bathroom and she just sluts it up. And
she changes her cliche 80s outfit. But also that part like right before. Did you realize what he says like right before? She makes him disappear.
What's that?
He goes, yeah, baby, can I get a soul kiss?
Oh, dude, he says a lot of shit. But then, like, I like how, like, she dresses all, like, fucking 80s and, like, whatever. And then he's like, oh, my God, you're embarrassing me with your bullshit fucking looks. And he goes, oh, yeah, with your fucking bow tie, nerd. And he's like, oh, that really hurt my feelings. And he goes, I'm sorry about that.
Well, I found out Brad and Randa are actually married in real life.
Oh, really?
Yes, they are married in real life. And Brad and Robin Lively were both on like WB shows when the WB started up.
No shit.
Yeah. So Robin Lively was one of the Savannah girls. Do you remember the show?
I do remember. Yeah.
She was one of those girls.
Okay.
And then Brad was on that show Muscle.
Muscle. Oh, I have a vague idea.
I know you have a vague because Adam West was on that show too.
Yeah. Okay.
And here's what's funny. So when I started hanging out with Tim, actually that show came on the year I started at the school we went to. Okay. I was only at Emory for that 6th grade year.
Yeah.
So that show started. I would tell Tim about that show every fucking like Thursday because that show was on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And so Tim and I, that's how like Tim and I like bonded, was talking about that show and about what happened. But Muscle was kind of a take on that show Soap.
Okay.
You know what Soap is?
Yeah.
Where they would tell a story, and it was kind of a parody on soap operas, and it was a comedy show. But
yeah.
All these lines, and Billy Crystal was in.
Wow, dude, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what that was. That was and like so that was those were the other shows off of that when the WB was starting.
I need to see if I can find that fucking like video. The WB has like an archive, right, for their stuff.
I've not seen any of that shit in years, dude.
Look at it later. But this movie is the greatest movie in the whole wide world. I read somewhere that people were concerned that what was the brother's name? Ricky?
The brother?
Yeah, what was the brother's name? Ricky, right? Or Richie?
Richie.
Richie was an imaginary aspect of the story.
What do you mean?
Because like they were saying that like from the moment that Louise wakes up, Richie is under the bed eating, like the chocolate cake. Mm-hmm. And the mother comes in shortly thereafter saying that she's going to be late to school, never acknowledges or talks to Richie. And then every scene thereafter that, there's no acknowledgement of Richie interacting with the parents. Like, he's making a fucking mess in the house and no one acknowledges it or yells at him about it and carries on. And he's making the pizza and then, like, there's this giant mess. There's a breakfast, whatever. And then magically he's like, I've taken the liberty of ironing your homework for you. Like, they're like, all this weird shit. And then the mom comes in there afterwards. And no one acknowledges it.
Because but that's like just a string of, like... There's a string of, like, brothers doing weird shit. Like in Better Off Dead.
Okay.
I think they're kind of doing a reverse Better Off Dead, because if you look at Better Off Dead, they're always paying attention to that kid, and the kid says nothing back.
Okay. Well,
and then like he's
there's only one line where the mom acknowledges Richie, and that's it. But like it was towards.
I think it's kind of reverse Better Off Dead.
Yeah, I think it's just bad writing where they just didn't interact with like everybody else.
But then she starts doing like good things, like she makes just the.
Hold on. So, Louise gets run off the road. And then her bike's all fucked up, and then it's raining.
It's raining.
So she gets to a phone booth and says, "Fuck, I can't do this."
Side note: there was an exploited sticker on that phone booth.
Was there?
Yeah.
Yellow, right? Yellow. So. Yeah. And then, so she goes to this like house, the only house that's nearby, which is like a psychic, and that's where we have Zelda. This is post Poltergeist.
Yeah, very Poltergeist.
Yeah, so
I post all 3 Poltergeists.
But also, if you see her, she's probably to the point where she's too old, she can't remember lines, but they wanted her in the movie, that you could see her constantly looking off stage for her cue cards.
It kind of works, though. It kind of makes that character work, I think.
Yeah. There's only one scene where I feel like this feels so fucking weird.
It was when she has the man. It seems like when there was like a third person there, she didn't know how to like.
No. That was okay too, but it was the post scene after that where she's sitting on the couch and they're sitting next to each other, and rather than her looking at Louise, she's looking away from Louise, and she's reading her key cards and then looking back at her, saying like, like about whether her love for Brad is real, if Brad is under a spell. Like, it doesn't mean anything. But she never cast a spell on Brad. She started to, but then gave up on it. So, like, all that was...
Well, why is there... because they had all that stuff on the floor, and I'm like, why is there all this cayenne pepper on your floor?
Where's all the chairs?
Why is it...
They're being reupholstered. Where's all the chairs?
Why is all that stuff in your room? She's like, Louise using that thirst trap.
Jeez. And then,
So she makes her teacher win the lottery and leave with the count.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, they do the voodoo.
I feel like that was kind of, like, thrown in there kind of shitty. What I do like is that, like, there's that part where they realize the theater teacher pulls out the necklace, saying, like, oh, here's that necklace, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, that's a beautiful necklace. Can I have it? Or she gives it to her, and Louise takes it. But there's an establishment, they throw, like, a fucking last-minute fucking B-reel of that fucking close-up of that necklace. And it looks like completely different hand, completely different lighting, and then gives it to Louise.
Yeah.
You can tell they just added that last minute.
And then, like, her like, witchcraft at one point brings the Crips and the Bloods together.
Oh, yeah. And then, so this was filmed in L.A.
Yeah.
So this is 1989, like 1988, hardcore LA. That shot that they had over the LA bridge was not a safe place to be.
No. The thing that kept like making me laugh is like every time they would be like, she'd be like, all right, Brad, yeah, there's no chairs in here. Don't ask me why.
Don't ask me why. Get on this bed, Brad.
Let's just sit on the bed. Don't ask me why.
There was a great fault where I was kind of pissed off with Zelda. She ends up like using, like, she tells Louise, give me some of your juice so I can make the spell work, and she transforms that frog into that guy, and he's just like, ribbit, you know what I mean, whatever.
First off, I immediately know where that joke was going.
Oh, the ribbit.
Yeah.
I just need you to say something, blah, 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 talk to me. Yeah, she fucking milked that scene, too. But what would have been great is, I feel like she ad-libbed that scene because she couldn't remember her lines.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with it too, but you can tell
because this is who you hired, who you wanted, and then you wanted her that bad.
Yes, you let her do it her thing.
Let her shit.
So, yeah, she telegraphed that joke, but it was whatever.
Telegraphed that joke?
Yeah. The next scene you see her, she's in the kitchen cooking and whatever. Mm-hmm. What should have been the joke there?
Was it a frog?
No, she was just saying she was making goulash or whatever. But she should have said, I'm making frog soup, or I'm making frog whatever. You know what I mean?
So you're upset that they didn't...
So it would have been funny if, like, the spell failed, and rather than waste a frog, cook the frog and eat it. You know what I mean? No? I feel like that's like a very witchy...
Well, when you want to turn a frog into a man just for its dick, I don't think it fails.
True. Ooh,
Which
but
is
would it have
for that.
How much of a transformation would that be? Would he have a normal wiener, or would it be like one of those weird like dog boners?
Well, he's going from a frog to a man, so he'd have man parts.
But this is still Louise's like learning her magic, and it's not 100% there yet. So.
Well.
What happened to him? Did Zelda ended up just like absorbing him? Or what happened to him? Because you don't see him at all.
Well, I always felt like Zelda Rubinstein was an absorbed twin that didn't absorb all the way.
Like
everyday
real life.
She just was the absorbed. She was the absorbed twin, she was the absorb. Not the absorber.
So,
it just didn't finish.
What do you think of the relationship between Louise and her dad?
Hold on. You know that part? Okay, you know the thing in Twins?
Yes.
Where Danny DeVito was the shit left over?
Oh, yeah.
I legit
the shit baby.
feel that, like, I feel like Danny DeVito's just a short man. Like, the rest of his family is short. Like, everybody is short.
Even his wife is short. Like, really short.
Well, it's Rhea Perlman, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like... But it's genetic. Like, I just feel like she was the shit left over.
Oh my god.
I don't think she's a bad person. I'm just saying this is what I feel like when I see her.
I think she's just a shit person. Who's the scum of her mother's uterus.
So she's sad. Her friend doesn't want to hang out, so she goes with Brad on a boat, and then they go to that house that you wouldn't stay in even during a zombie apocalypse in Bang.
Oh yeah, the rape murder house.
Yeah.
That got super sensual too, like with like that sexy sax in the background again. And then she's just like,
it's one of those like, how much has Brad fucked? Because nobody fucks like that in high school.
Yeah. The Brad's wearing that like sleeveless like shirt that he cut up, and you see like Louise just touching his shoulder back and forth, like, okay, this is a weird angle to be focused on. Like, this is an 80s movie. Where's her boobs?
Well, it's a PG-80s movie, so you get side boobs.
Yeah. But she gets all her kisses, like she wrote in her diary.
Yeah, she gets all her that was a weird setup.
Yeah, it was.
And then, but partway through, she decides, I don't want to go to the dance with Brad.
Yeah, because now she develops a conscience that she's like, hey, like, this is a real thing. Is it not real? Like, does it lose quality knowing that it's whatever? But even, like, Zelda was very much like, I'll make him your love slave. And she's like, yeah, this would be cool. But then, like, she realizes that's not what she wants.
I'm just to lick that puss.
Yeah. But it's nice, though, because you see, like, the progression of go up because she wants to be popular. And then, like, I like how Zelda's going through, like, the whole, like, spell book. Annette Funicello. Yeah. He's like, ooh, that? Marilyn Monroe? No. And then, like, she ends up taking that one singer's popularity and taking it. Does that spell work, the fact that she just transferred her popularity to Louise? Is that what it was? So did that singer now fail?
Is that what that movie implies?
I thought that's what it implied, is that she took her luck and her fame and gave it to herself.
Oh, that's fucked up. Oh, dude, really? Is this what we're...
Is that not what it was? Because that's kind of what I assumed it had always been. That's why she's been.
Okay,
like,
hold on. No, you have to shut up a second. Do you know what happens to Annette Funicello?
What happened to Annette?
Oh, she got MS.
Oh, really? No, well, she didn't use an. Oh my god! Is that what happened? Is that what Zelda did to her? Oh, this took a dark turn. Because she said they had that. Oh my god! Because they even had the Marilyn Monroe. Holy shit! Are they just destroying lives and we just didn't see it?
Yeah, that's what happens to Annette Funicello.
Shit! This turned fucking dark. So
if
that's the case, because that's what because she names those two people right off the bat. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking that the fact that
you're taking
Louise and Zelda's character, Madam whatever the fuck
her name,
Zelda,
Serena,
they were, for whatever reason, she has a yearbook from the witches, Salem witch trials, and they're both there, and I'm like, okay, cool, and but Zelda's still the same, so she's been alive this entire time.
Again, going with my theory about the movie Twins.
Okay. Anyways, so I'm thinking they die and they just get reincarnated in like different lives, and they just kind of meet up with each other when they can in those lives. But if that's the case, Zelda's been alive since, what is it, 1700s? 1600s? Yeah. So that's insane. But that's probably why she has no magic and waiting for her to come back around so they could like kind of piggyback each other. That's probably why she's so desperate for money too, because she's just like, oh my god, you're one of us. Oh my god, like you're.
Yeah, like where's the? But there's no villain. Like,
but
who's the villain in this?
The witches are the villains. They ruin everyone's lives just by being.
They ruined Funicello's
life. But that's what I'm thinking. Maybe like Louise's reincarnation ended up killing Marilyn Monroe, and then she must have died in between there, and they come back now in the 80s. Because like that's born in the 70s to be a teenager in the 80s.
Yeah, she would be born in the 70s, but Marilyn Monroe would have died in 63.
So it must have been like
62.
So died 62. Something happened, died in like the 70s, reincarnated, and then now here she is. But like it's because I always took it that it's like that's why the spinning thing is, because like I figured that she was just sucking the energy, transferring the energy, luck powers to herself. She's just there's a lot of dark things going on. But then she ruins her.
This is fucking changing that.
The only thing that was wholesome and very good that she's done with her powers is help her blossom like friend get laid by one of the rappers.
One of the creepy boys.
First off, what do you mean
Mama's
creepy boys?
just jealous. It's the creepy boys.
Their style was phenomenal. I want to dress exactly like.
We're using the word style loosely today, aren't we?
How dare you? But yeah, that whole "Take That" song, beautiful. It was a beautiful rendition. I believed it.
I couldn't believe it, but it was there.
Did you like any of the musical breaks?
Did not like any of the musical breaks. You know what my thoughts on musicals.
So
I feel like Lin-Manuel Miranda fucking loves the soundtrack for this movie. Just the way his songs are and the way the songs are in this. I feel like you can draw a line.
I mean, the songs aren't well written, but they're.
I feel like you can draw a line.
Yeah.
I feel like you can draw a line.
I like Boys, and then this one.
Teen Witch to
Dreamers.
Hamilton.
Yeah. You don't see much of the three rappers. When the story started, I could see rewriting the story, making those three boys into the three witches in Macbeth. To modernize this story.
And flip the roles.
Flip the roles a little bit. Make the three boys into the three witches and have them kind of do their little rap battle. If you're going to rewrite it for like a modern day.
I don't know why anybody would touch that with a 10.
I know. It's a fucking perfect movie.
No.
It's a perfect movie. But do you know what I mean? Like, have it be that way. Have the, like, if you want to be more on the nose, have the play that they're doing either be Midsummer's Night. Have that be like the Lover's Trail, like kind of like, because you wake up, they force them to like fall in love and be with each other to realize that's not what they wanted in the first place, and that would mirror that whole Brad and Louise story better. You know what I mean? Because like she puts him under spell to like be in love with her, and then ruins everybody else's like thing. And then she even like uses like her potions or her spell work to like bring the two lovers. I would say the story should be more of a friendship between Louise and her friend, and her pushing her friend to be better, and maybe giving up her own happiness or her own desire to be with Brad to push her and her friend and that guy's story to be better. Do you know what I mean? That would be a better story. Because then it's like she's learning to grow herself emotional, mature wise, to like put herself secondary to her friends.
Have you seen
That'd be like a better like Sabrina.
So Sabrina.
No, better than Sabrina.
Well, from what my dad says about the second season.
Oh, which?
Sabrina, the new Sabrina.
The witchy witch.
Not the fucking Wilson Joan Hart one. Is that what you're going on?
Okay, first off, fuck you! Don't you ever talk that way about Sabrina. Yes, that's the one I was talking about.
The new one or the old one?
The old one.
Okay.
Because that's what I liked about the show. Because Sabrina always put her friends up first, regardless of her consequences. And then this movie, I felt like Louise was just more selfish on like her, what she wants and what she needs. And then she gets dissatisfied because like there's nothing's earned. You know what I mean? But that's how I figured you would fix that story in like a modern telling of it. The new Sabrina is good, but I feel like they just horseshoed a lot of just like different things to it. And then like what made me angry about season 2 is that all the established rules that they had, they broke them all just to continue on the stories.
Well,
like,
my dad said that Sabrina was fucking dumb in the second season.
Super dumb. My dad's like,
he's like, I like that first season. He's like, she's fucking stupid in the second season.
Yeah, they break all the rules that they've set up beforehand, and then like it's just kind of like where are we going with this? Because did you have time to write a story, or did you fire all your writers and get new writers in to continue on? So in this one, season 2, all they're using is feelings, and then like you have a character who I felt was like shoehorned just for political, social reasons. You made her the trans.
They started setting that up in the first season, though.
Right, which is fine. Like, but I felt like that was part of Netflix's like, hey, let's try to modernize it. Let's put like a trans woman in, which they did. I don't
think that's shoehorned in. I just think that I don't think it's shoehorned. Okay, so why is making that person a trans shoehorning it in, but making Mary Jane Black in the Spider-Man movies not shoehorning it in? I don't feel like it was shoehorning it in. I have no problem.
I feel like when it comes to ethnicities, doesn't matter. I always see everything as like a play. I mean, so it's like you're honoring like this, as long as you honor like the tone of the character, fine. Let's just go with it. I don't give a shit if like she's black or not.
But those characters, and even with the Archie characters, I mean, you could say the same shit with fucking Riverdale.
You could make Archie and make it a completely black cast, which I'd be fine with. Slightly annoyed that like it's like, why would you make it a 4 point in your mind to make them all black? Why not just take whoever's a better actor is who?
No. But what I'm saying is, the Archie comics, those characters evolved with the times.
Right.
Whatever writer was writing Archie at the time evolved with the times. Eventually, one of those characters is going to come out as was it fucking Jughead's asexual in that Jughead book? Did you know that?
Oh.
The one that chips his darkness.
I feel like that ruins a lot of the old Archie stories.
But who cares? You're just doing stories.
Yeah.
But what's the difference between making that character trans and making that character, changing that character to black? It's this. But it's just their iteration. It's like, what's the difference between changing shit in Batman? It doesn't matter what that shit is.
The thing about Jughead being asexual is kind of a bummer because he was always slightly jealous of Archie with like Betty and Veronica. But then hold on. So if that's the case and he's asexual, then all that was a lie. Like his actions of being jealous about Archie.
But you're rebooting it. It's a reboot.
Oh, it's a reboot. Then yeah, fuck it. I don't give a shit.
And then that's what all of these are. So what does it matter if that character is trans? It's a fucking reboot. You just said it doesn't matter. It's a fucking reboot.
No,
it's not the same
fine.
Universe.
But I feel like that character was only trans to just be modern. So I feel like they used it as but I feel like
okay. Have you watched all of Perry Mason yet?
No.
You haven't finished it?
No.
How far are you into it?
Episode 5.
Can I ruin a small thing for you?
Yeah.
Della Reese is a lesbian.
That's the
assistant to John Lithgow.
Yeah.
And now she's gonna become.
That doesn't bother me.
Okay.
Yeah, but the
thing
is,
but how is that not shoehorning it in?
Because it doesn't. They make it into a focal point that this is like, where you don't go through a development of the character, rather than it's just like, hey guys, I'm a boy, fine, but like, but I need.
Is that how that happens essentially?
But I needed.
Is that how that happens though?
Yes.
Okay.
But I feel like that.
Okay. Yes. So writing it that way is not inaccurate.
Oh, I thought you meant that's how it is in the show.
No. In general,
real life, I feel like there's more experimenting. I dated a girl who liked being a drag king and took my clothes to fulfill that niche. But it started off small. So where I feel like in this show there were no little signs of that attempting.
But she's
maybe there was, but like I feel like maybe then the writers should have just.
I was like 100% like this is what's gonna happen. I knew from the beginning. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
Oh really?
Well, after picking up on them, that's what they were gonna do because I had watched Riverdale.
Okay.
They touch on that. I mean, that's their right now. Teens are their bread and butter, and that's what's happening with teens.
Right. So they have that character become trans. Fine. It doesn't bother me, but I feel like they just kind of like shoved it into the story last minute. Whatever. Season 2, he's a boy. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I forget the name of the character.
I forgot to. Don't worry.
So let's just say Teddy, just to have a name. Whatever.
It sounds like it's right too.
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
So Teddy is now living his life as a boy. He ends up meeting a boy that now she's attracted to. So now that whole like.
But is that something that can happen? Is that something that happens?
Right, no, it can. But it also be where like I feel like if we're gonna, I feel like that's that topic, whatever, is a little too heavy to be a minor character's story. Because I feel like you need to like explain that too for a lot of people that don't get it.
No, did they tie it in later or no?
No,
they didn't tie it all in later. No, because
and that's why I feel like the story. That's why the story's a little weak.
No, I'm okay with that though. It's okay to have that in there. If you know.
Yeah, that's fine too. Like, but I feel like it's just like a lot of the writing is more feeling.
Is that something that happens in real life as well?
Never. No, it does.
Okay.
But I feel like it's just like
and that's the challenge they threw that character that season.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the challenge they just threw that character. The character was very much like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this. This is, and I've made this. You know what I mean? It makes a strong stance. The only way your characters grow is if you throw off that stance.
Yeah.
And that's why that happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know if there's any backlash from that. I would think not, because I think you would have heard about it.
Right.
I'm sure there was somebody who didn't like that. But yeah, I mean that's for my dad, who's very right conservative. That was not a complaint I got from my dad. I got a complaint of because she's fucking stupid. But then I was like, well, but in theory, with Sabrina in general, that there is no show if Sabrina isn't somewhat stupid about shit.
Yeah, no, this one though, it's more. Yeah, it's more.
What happens
with the logic of like the first bit? Fantastic. Switching the Church of Night into now like this like other state of being, where now it's like they're referring to the goddess more, which is fine because it's still all part of the witchy kind of lore. I feel like a lot of the rules in the world that they establish are now like flimsy, and so which is.
I have to watch now. I kind of want to watch it because I haven't seen it, so I can't. But I think I saw a little bit of it because I see things here and there because Lisa would watch it.
Yeah.
But was that the season where
The season
Was it
of the
the
witch.
first? No, was the first season where the uncle was possessed, or is that the second season? That's the first season.
The first season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I saw up through the first season. I didn't watch this. I saw up through the special they did between the first and second season, and then I haven't gone back.
This one has a more feel of the older TV show, where they have like you see they play more on the other side of the worlds. But this one they actually go to hell, and they're in hell for like a little bit of a time because now Sabrina, the spoilers, is now Queen of Hell.
I heard about that too.
And then did you have other people trying to take the throne of hell, and then now Sabrina's
gotta defend the throne of hell.
Defend the throne of hell, but at the same time live her life with her mortal life because she can't decide which ones she wants to do, and then it's just. And her boyfriend is now
it's not
the
Harvey,
Cage.
It's the other guy.
It's
the other guy from it's the other Satan guy.
Yeah, and he's
who was like in that
the cage for the devil, and the devil's like now trying to break through and using him as a puppet. And
so they kind of do what they did with the dad in that, but they just use the boyfriend.
Yeah,
and then okay.
But overall, if I was to compare all the witches movies, I feel like Bewitched with Will Ferrell is probably the best one. You know, hey, speaking of witches, have you seen American Horror Story? Coven?
I don't watch any American Horror Story.
Why?
I don't like Ryan Murphy.
What is it about it?
I heard him interviewed one time, and he was kind of a piece of shit about something, and I'm like, oh, I'm good.
That's how I feel with Lana Del Rey.
Oh, she's a piece of shit too.
She is a piece of shit, but some of her music I kind of liked, and it's kind of the moment I heard her talk, I'm like, yeah, I can't deal with you.
Yeah, they wanted Foo Fighters songs on Glee.
Okay.
And Dave Grohl's like, no, I'm good, thank you. And it wasn't a dick about it. He was just like, hey, I don't think everybody's music needs to be on Glee. I don't want my music on Glee.
Yeah.
It wasn't shitty.
Cool.
And then Ryan Murphy was shitty about it.
Yeah, because I bet you he already wrote a bunch of shit and was like wrote a storyline behind it. It was like, you fucking asshole. Yeah.
So then don't write until you have the rights.
Yeah, exactly. But I guarantee that's what it was.
But he was a piece of shit about it, and I'm like, oh, I don't need to watch anything he does. I'm good.
Yeah. The American Horror Stories, whatever. They're kind of they're some of them are great. Some of them are kind of okay. The Coven one, the Witches one, I liked it a lot.
The Insane Asylum one is the Santa Ana Courthouse.
Really?
Yes. So I was married inside
the Insane Asylum. That's dope. That's
the outside of it is the outside.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where the Insane Asylum was. Like the exterior shots that they did.
Yeah.
That was all Santa Ana Courthouse.
I have to really watch that to see it. What do you think about the ending of Teen Witch? Spells broken.
Spells broken.
She shows up to the dance, Dreamer in the distance, or whatever the fuck the name of the song is.
I'm sorry. The dance that was
Dream Lovers playing in the background.
She's
there.
It was
unpopular, alone,
and it was the.
And across the way, Brad shows up
at the Moonlight and Magic dance.
Yeah, Brad shows up. They lock eyes. They're drawn to each other like magnets that are close enough to be drawn to each other, and they do what lovers do and touch palms. Or what is that Shakespeare line? You want to talk about
the Shakespeare in Love?
No, the fucking do what prayers are meant for lovers' hands. How's that line go?
I don't know, dude.
As prayers to palms, palms to lovers' hands.
I know Hamlet. That's about what I know.
Whatever. Anyways, they touch hands and they kiss. Credits.
And I'm just like, who's the villain in this?
Zelda.
But
Zelda and Louise are both the villains. So this is basically oh my god, this movie is just Maleficent. Teenage years.
Tell me your story. Let's hear your.
This is basically she's just a witch, and then she falls in love with a boy. That boy later on breaks her heart. She goes, "Fuck you! I want horns and wings." And then gets mad because her and Brad never had a fucking kid, and now this fucking ripe cunt of a queen has this baby, and she wasn't invited. She goes, "You know what? Fuck your baby."
That's which I never got about that movie. It's like, you're my ex-girlfriend. Why am I going to bring you to my baby shower?
Yeah. And then, yeah, so basically what it is. Louise is an evil witch. Is that why you think they played on, like, they didn't really, like, harp on that?
I'm trying to figure out the structure of this movie.
What do you mean?
There's
What
no
do you mean?
structure. You know what movie
What
has...
do you mean?
Pee-wee's Big Adventure had more structure in this movie.
They reference Pee-wee, too, in this movie.
Yes, they do. But Pee-wee's Big Adventure had more structure than this movie does.
Yeah, but this movie had hairspray and lust and desire. Also, a hint of Grease 2 was, like, sprinkled on this, too. Do you want to talk about?
Because it's a fucking musical?
No. How dare you? The sex scene, the sex ed class. Where she was like, she pulls out like the pipe and she's like, you know what this is? And then like one of the rappers like, a love stick, a Johnson, a love one. And he's like, yeah. And then like the girl, the teacher's like, yeah. And now Mr. Sperm is racing through the fallopian tube to get into the egg. And that's how you get a baby. And you know how to prevent that? With this, a condom. Everybody, condom. And everybody's just standing out condoms. You don't remember that part of the movie? That reminded me very much of Grease 2. So when they have that sex ed class,
yeah,
and then like everybody starts dancing as if their sperms like popping through like eggs.
I'm gonna throw this out there.
You never seen Grease 2? You son of a bitch!
Why is it October?
Why is it October right now? You're not missing much, dude. It is. Actually, there's a song in Grease 2 that I fucking love, and it's in my head all the time, especially when I used to ride motorcycles. The song's called Cool Rider. Cool Rider.
We should watch things that are horrible. That's hard.
Oh, then fuck it. Yeah, we'll watch it. We'll put it on the list.
Hey Jimmy, so you finally finished The Mandalorian?
I finally finished The Mandalorian, like maybe about a month ago.
Oh, you didn't tell me this. So what did you? Okay, now seeing the whole season as one, what did you think?
It was good.
Okay.
It was good.
Because you were very like, I don't like this, and I'm like, how the fuck do you not like this?
Because it's a very like what is it, like samurai movie. I mean, a lot of his kids are from like
it's Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yeah,
and I'm okay. I was 100% okay with that.
Well, even with the planet with the shrimps, where like he was about to like leave everything behind, was very like Seven Samurai. So yeah. I was like, okay, cool. But the end of it's pretty dope. That end battle standoff was dope.
Oh, like, we're on. It wasn't Tatooine that they were on, but they were on a different planet where he finally takes his mask off.
Yeah, and then it was like that whole like just shootout, and like, you know, everybody's about to give up, and then like the other Mandalorian showed up and they started fucking blowing shit up. Like, that was dope. And then that last scene with the black lightsaber just cutting across the thing.
Oh, the Darksaber?
Yeah.
Yeah, Darksaber pops up in a lot of Dave Filoni's stuff.
So, overall, I liked it, but man, it was like a hard chore for me to get into it.
Oh, I love it. My dad's been through it like 2 or 3 times already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, my pops loves that show.
I like how it continues world building, even though we were like well established in the Star Wars world. Like it kind of has its own feel, though it still feels very connected to everything else.
Like, yeah. So he's been through it. He was excited because I guess he's been reading that Kathy Kennedy's like contract is almost up.
Oh, okay.
And they think Favreau and Filoni are going to take over Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with that. But what have you been blanking for?
Well, going along with The Mandalorian, since you finished that, I started Raised with Wolves, which I feel like when I watch
okay. Yeah.
is like Aliens Mandalorian.
Yeah.
It 100% feels like that. And
it's good though, right?
Well, it made me realize what science fiction is.
Okay, what is science fiction?
All science fiction is just a passive-aggressive critique on society.
Yes.
And I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out, because I didn't read a lot outside of Star Wars. But yeah, just a passive-aggressive. It's just like, oh yeah, this is what we do in our land. That's full of injustice.
Yeah,
this is our injustice here.
It's also a place where you could play with like ideas and just take them to their extreme too.
Yeah. Just
like when we get to Dune, like. There's some ideas and there's some like views that like, you know, what happens when like
Dune was written like the 60s, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's about like Dune's more like about like, okay, cool, like what happens when people have power? You know what I mean? Like, it is like either side You know, like what happens when other have powers. Like it's just.
And maybe that's because I'm not real big into politics, so I think maybe that's why I was never like. I like science fiction. I respect what it is, but maybe that's why I'm never super into science fiction.
Yeah,
but in general, the story, without it even being like that, you know, passive aggressive. This is our injustice in our world. Yeah. Here's how you can compare it to your world. Yeah. Like, even with that, though, the story is really good. I'm only 2 episodes in.
Yeah, the story, like, with Raised by Wolves, it's very... For the first 2 episodes, they're very, like, on point on, like, making points about their views.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But one of the things that I liked, as soon as you get to that second episode, and it made me just go, like, oh, fuck, that's so good.
The second episode is when they have the kids from the ship, right?
She got at the end of the first. I remember at the end of the first episode, she grabs the kids.
Perfect. Okay.
And then goes on. So here's what happens. Okay, but here's what they show what happens before that at the beginning of the second episode, where those 2 people
parents, right?
But like, okay, here's what I thought was so great about it. So they killed the parents off. Yeah. And then those 2 people were like, oh fuck, they have a kid, so they have to act like they have this kid, right? So later in that, but when you go back to that first episode, when they're all like, we're gonna take this fucking kid back to heaven, to the fucking starship, and we're gonna fucking kill this android. Yeah. And so when they do that, though, the lead guy, the one that killed the dad, when he says, "I have a son your age," it felt off to me.
Oh yeah. I see what you mean.
It felt so off to me, and I'm like, because like he didn't say it, like he's like, oh, you know, I got a kid your age. Yeah, that was like, and I was like, this is a little like. Something's up. Yeah. I immediately was like, the way he delivered that line, it was perfect the way that guy delivered that line. Yeah. But I immediately was like, something sounds off, and then you immediately get that answer in the next episode, and I was like, oh fuck, that actor is so good. Yeah, like the way he played that off, because they got to act like they're the parents to the kid, and then that kid gets taken off the starship and put on there, and he's only like, what's crazy though. He's only like a mile from that kid. Oh yeah, because he's right there by. Like I said, I just at the point where they didn't throw him down. He's hanging off the side of the hole, and they just found him at the end. That's the end of the second episode, and so that's where I left off. So like I said, I know I'm only scratching the surface. I'm only like a quarter of the way through the story, because there's only like 8 episodes, right? Did you finish it yet?
I didn't finish it yet.
Okay, where are you at?
Episode 4.
Oh, so okay. So you're like halfway through.
Yeah, I'm halfway through, a little further than you, but yeah. It's still good. Like, it's really, really good.
Are you watching The Boys this season?
You know, I just started watching it again. So
are you?
I started from episode 1 again of season 2, and just kind of going through.
Where are you at in season 2 then?
So I'm at the point where, let's see, we finally see that. What's that evil? The girl in all black with the lightning fingers.
Oh, you're just seeing Stormfront for the first time?
So I'm seeing her use her powers for the first time, and Homelander's pissed off that she got to kill the terrorist, and he's just fucking pouting. And then he's in the room with the changeling, the fucking shapeshifter. Oh, and he's like, I said, you go change back, and he's like, you know, the guy's like, I can only hold the shape for a little bit before like whatever happens.
It's so fucking twisted, dude. It just goes, like I said, I only got through about half the comic. Yeah. And that comic was like, oh, fuck. Like, the whole time I was reading that comic going, oh, fuck. Yeah. And this show is doing the same thing, because for as much as I didn't like they did that with The Walking Dead, I like what they've done with this, where they've changed things, you know what I mean? I'm enjoying it, so I'm caught up. Nice. There's only one, and there's one more episode next week. There's only like 8 episodes this season.
Oh, okay. Is it because of COVID, or is it just story-wise they only had 8?
I don't know. Yeah. I'm not sure if it was a COVID thing, but I think it was mostly done before the pandemic.
Yeah. So I watched an animated movie.
What'd you watch?
The Addams Family.
Did you like it?
Did you like it?
No.
I liked it.
I didn't. I was like, this is fucking stupid. And I like the Addams Family. Don't get me wrong. I love me some Addams Family. But I was watching it, and I'm all like, oh, really?
I could watch the Addams Family animated movie more than I could watch the Scooby-Doo.
That Scoob was a little rough too, though.
Yeah, that was rough.
And that was like, those cartoons were like my childhood.
Even the Addams Family one, like, it got to the point where I was like, okay, cool.
The beginning killed it for me, because they were like making like, and it's really bad. And like the show, again, I'm a little more forgiving to things in the '60s, but even then, I feel like the show was well written. That's one of the shows that was on like KDOC when I was a kid, and I used to watch all the time. Even after the movies came out, I saw both those movies in theaters. My pops, because the show was on KDOC all the time, like I said, or Channel 9. It was on KCAL. Yeah, I think it was on both at one point.
It was.
This was before
when they can actually do that, where they was like, oh yeah, fucking, you want to buy it too? Sure.
But they would never show it at the same time.
No, so
but occasionally, if you were lucky around Thanksgiving, one would end and then you would change the channel, the other one would just start.
Have like their little marathons going.
Yeah.
And so, so then it was just, I liked the show. I love the movies. The movies were fun. I was okay with that TV show.
So what you hated about the
I got 10 minutes into the movie and didn't even finish the movie.
What was it?
When they were driving and they were making all those stupid puns and shit, and it just wasn't working for me. I was like, I don't even feel. Even my kids.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I can't stick with this. I can't do this.
Some of it was a bit of a chore to get through, but like it was not bad. And then especially with Pugsley, like when it was the beginning where Pugsley is trying to learn his little like sword fighting dance and he couldn't do it.
So they bring the mamushka in,
but they don't call it the mamushka; they call it something else. So but basically it was like a sword fighting dance, and then like throughout the entire movie, Uncle Fester shows up and he's basically saying like, "Hey, FYI," he goes, "You have to nail this dance because like just like Cousin Vinny or whatever." He was like, "Who's Cousin Vinny?" Cousin Vinny. He goes, "Exactly. You better not fuck up this." They keep going on and on about it, but like, it was pretty funny. And then especially when they show you how they got lurch, how they were driving down the car and they fucking run over this same person. And they're like, "Oh shit, we killed him." They bring him in, and then like it has an overall nice little feel to like everything. They changed a lot of different things because
I don't need an origin story on the fucking Addams Family. Like that you know what I mean? Like you don't need to do that. You want to show someone moving in, fine. But like I don't need that.
Because it starts off with the wedding of like.
Yeah, that's what was killing it too. I'm like, I don't need this.
Yeah,
I know.
And then like how they jump on Uncle Fester, and he like climbs the cliff like a weird like.
Yeah, like I didn't need a lot of that. I was like, no, that's what the other part. I was like, oh yeah, like there's the wedding at the beginning. Like, I literally got 10 minutes in, and none of the kids were like, Emily's like, I'm not into this.
But I like when they get to the house, and they're like, this is perfect, and then they're like, this place is a nightmare. And they walk in, and then the whole place is just like there's like a demon possessing the house, and it's like, get out, and they're like, oh, perfect. And then like it cuts to like years later, where they're all like, now it's like the established Addams Family like ages, and like. Morticia wakes up and the house is like, get out. He goes, you're grumpy without your coffee, and pours the coffee into the toilet.
See, like it's like
and then
that.
but I like how like the camera like it distorts and elongates like in horror films, and then when it gives the coffee, it goes whoop. All right, but it was okay. The only thing I had a problem with it was like that kind of got on my nerves is Cousin Knit. Cousin Knit rolls up, but it's played by Snoop Dogg, and like you can't tell it's Snoop Dogg because you know how they speed up the voice.
Okay, so they did that. So I was like,
yeah,
but
he rolls up playing.
Is it the high pitched voice or is it the Snoop Dogg voice just fast?
No, high pitched voice. So I mean, like,
okay,
so you can't even tell it's even him. But like, but he's rolling up to the house, blaring Snoop Dogg, and you're like, okay, that's a little off-putting to what the rest of the story is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can't.
Wait. If he rolled
I can't remember the song. I can't remember the song.
If he rolled up playing "Murder Was the Case,"
no.
But if that's what he rolled up playing, I'd be like, yes,
yeah.
That shit works.
Shit, they should have done that, but it wasn't.
They're not gonna bust out on a kids movie. Yeah. Murder Was the Case.
Fuck, I wish I remember the name of the.
Did you hear about the religious people getting upset about the movie?
No.
Because there's a Ouija board in one of the scenes.
There is a Ouija board in the scenes.
And they're all like, there's this video that this guy put up and goes, I try to take my kids to a family movie. And there's this Ouija board in the middle of it.
You have to know you're going to see the Addams Family. You're going to see, like, occult, like, things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I know. But he was, like, making this big deal about the Ouija board. And I'm like, really? And, like, some of the people... I've got friends that are, like... Not friends, but, like, friends, like, parents that are, like, religious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
What else did you see, Forrest?
I am reading a few... I'm reading like I do. I'm reading a book called The Night Circus. It has potential to be really good. Like, it's got that Harry Potter vibe, but like a good Harry Potter.
Okay.
And, but it time jumps a lot. But rather than making it like a really big, long series of books that it could be, it time jumps and does these little short stories of it. And I don't like it. Like, I want more from this. I'm digging it. It's about...
Oh, okay.
It's about this... girl who gets dropped off at her dad's, and her dad is like this magician, and he's got a rival magician, and he's like, oh well, let's fucking have our proteges like learn and see who's better. And so it's about them doing that, but then it's about the proteges because one's a girl and one's a boy, and they like fall in love.
Yeah.
And it seems like it'd be really good. It's like this circus just pops up into town, and it doesn't tell you when it's going to be there, and doesn't tell you when it's going to leave. And there's another boy in the middle of it who's like going to it all the time, like falls in love with it, this circus.
Okay.
And it's all these other, and it's in French, it's like the Circus of Dreams, and it only shows up at night.
How pretentious.
Yeah, and so I don't know if I'm going to finish it because I feel like it has all this potential.
But it's
and
not.
It's not going any. I'm probably going to finish it because I have nothing else to listen. Oh, I got a couple things, but I'm just kind of like, I want this to be longer. I want more in this land. And there's like all like the circus freaks have like this meeting, and they're trying to get people in, and like all the performers and stuff, and they have to audition for the performers, and it's fucking insane. There's some fucking good stuff in it, but it just stops in some parts.
Okay, that's weird. So it's like a little like kind of like mini stories of like
okay. And it jumps a bit, and the time moves around a bit, and I'm all like, no, like.
So I'm watching Fargo.
The season 4 or the old season?
Season 1. I haven't seen any of it.
Okay, I only saw season 1. Well, how far are you into it?
Okay, so I'm in episode 6 of season 1.
Good.
Billy Bob Thornton.
It's so good.
It's so freaking good.
I know.
There's a part in this whole because I was about to give up on the show, but there's a part where Billy Bob Thornton he's at the house. He's befriended like.
Is that where they're running through everything? And there's like it jumps a bunch of. It's like one long shot, like one long cut.
No. The part I'm talking about is the part where like he's helping what's his face, the nerd who just killed his wife with the hammer, and then so he was like, was like calling the guys like, hey, I need your help, please come over, and he comes over, but then that's when the sheriff shows up. He's like, hey, and asks him questions like, who were you talking to that night, blah 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 blah, and then like
because it's Tom Hanks' kid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is it the
no. So basically the sheriff's over to the house. The girl that was gonna be sheriff, because the sheriff said like, regardless of him, I need you to be sheriff. You're gonna succeed me because you got a clever, sharper mind.
Yeah.
And then so he's over at the house. It's like, oh, I'll talk to him. I've known him forever. And the guy shoots him in the chest and like kills him.
Yeah.
And then like he's like, what the fuck? And then like he disappears. And the fact that like the guy doesn't know what to do, and the cops are there because that girl's there figuring out what's happening, so he just runs headfirst into the wall, so he knocks himself out, so he doesn't look like he killed his wife. But when Billy Bob Thornton's leaving and Tom Hanks' son pulls him over, that scene was so dope. Yeah. Where he was like talking to his daughter on the walkie-talkie about like watching the game or whatever, and then he sees the car, pulls it over, and he's like, hey. He goes like, license and registration. He's like, I could give you, we could play that game, and I give you my license and registration, but we both know this is not, my friend's car, and I don't have license or registration, so you're just gonna get in your car and walk away. And the way he intimidates him, is fucking dope. And then he's like, sir, Billy Bob Thornton goes, this on, what did he say? Like in the map, there used to be, this place used to have dragons labeled on the map. But they've updated the maps. There's no longer dragons here. But that doesn't mean that they don't exist. And then he's like, his daughter's on the radio, and he's like, is that your daughter? He's like, and then starts intimidating. He's like, would you like to see your daughter later on? And then like, and then it was just like, what the fuck? And then seeing that guilt inside, like Tom Hanks' son, like kind of like step in, and then the daughter's like, it's like talking about bullying, about how you should always stand up for like what's right, and then like dude, the story on it is fucking phenomenal. Yeah. I love it so much. Forrest, next week we're gonna do Conjuring 2. Ooh, spooky. It's a true story based in England with Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Wayne Warren.
Wayne Warren. Next week.
Well, that's gonna do it for the episode this week. If you have any questions or comments, you can hit us up at our Instagram
at YHBlankThat.
Or you can email us at yhblankthat@gmail.com.
Bye.
Bye.